Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's Diego, and it is April 11th, 2026. Ready for your green card live stream, your K1 visa live stream. It is Saturday, it's the weekend, so if you're busy out there with your family, I fully understand. If you are trying to get your K1 visa approved, if you're working on your 2 year or your 10-year green card application, I'm here to answer your questions. That's why this channel was put together. This channel was created for you guys, not for me. I already know how to do this. I've been processing K1 visas and green cards for 13 years. I've done processed so many, I lost count. I don't even remember how many. So Karina, she's out doing her walk around the neighborhood. She's doing her exercise. She does good. She's working hard. She's taking her English classes. Now, Karina, my beautiful wife, is from Venezuela. She lived in Caracas, Venezuela, born and raised. She went to university in Venezuela. She got her degree in tax accounting from Venezuela. Then she relocated to Colombia in July of 2018 to escape communism and to evade and avoid the evil nastiness of communism. And luckily she moved to Colombia because then that's where she met Diego. We met each other in Bogota. And then we dated each other for 3 years. And then I brought her to the United States on the K1 visa. Then she got her 2-year green card. And now she's working on getting ready to file for her 10-year green card. Next month, we're going to file for her 10-year green card. And all this paperwork isn't difficult, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. It's not hard to do. You just got to be patient. You got to make enough money. And if you don't make enough money, if your income isn't sufficient, you can get a joint sponsor, co-sponsor, and you got to make sure you don't have a criminal record, and you got to make sure you actually met each other and spent time together and established a relationship over at least a year at a minimum. I say you should date somebody for at least a year, which is going to be like 2 or 3 trips to her home country or his home country. You start collecting your evidence for the K1 visa application, and then you file Form I-129F when you're ready to go. But you got to make sure you qualify. I got my socks sitting on the chair. Anyway, there you go. And here's cable that I use to download videos from the cell phone to the computer. And then here's the magic pixie dust I got right here and then I got the Mountain Dew salutes. I got the baby Mountain Dew salute, and then I have the Big Daddy Mountain Dew salute right here, and I got the microphone. This is a Yeti microphone. It does pretty good. It works pretty well, as long as you can hear me. That is, if you can hear me, then obviously it's doing a good job. Now, the K1 visa process is easy. The paperwork is easy. It's just you got to qualify. Okay, immigration are not out there trying to block you from getting your K1 visa approved. They're out there trying to eliminate the fraud and to sift out the bad from the good. Which, when I say bad from good, I'm talking about the fraud, and that's the reason it's such a strict process. And now we got a new president. Well, he's not a new president. He's been president for quite a while now. He's ramping it up, making the process not so much more difficult, but he's enforcing the laws and the rules that were put in place by the Congress. So you don't want to come to the United States on a tourist visa, marry your American citizen sponsor, and then file for a 2-year green card. That isn't going to happen. You can come to the United States on a tourist visa, and if you happen to get married to an American citizen, okay, but you got to go back to your home country before your tourist visa expires. Because if you do not do that, okay, when you go to your green card interview, you're going to be detained, arrested, and deported. So just follow the rules. If you follow the rules, then you're going to be perfectly fine. That's all immigration is asking. That's what the Congress of the United States, they're not trying to stop you from coming to America, Mr. Beneficiary, Miss Beneficiary. They're just trying to make sure you come here for the right reasons, which is you're in love with an American, you want to get married, and you want to start a life here. Don't use, and when you get your 2-year green card, don't use it as a visa to travel back and forth to whatever country it is you started from. Immigration is going to catch on to that pretty darn quick. Now, if you're filing for your 10-year green card, you filed Form I-751. It's 13 pages long. The latest edition date is, let me see here, I believe it's April 2027. But if you're filing for your 10-year green card, after about a week, say a week to 10 days, you're going to get a notification from immigration that they have received your application. They're going to take the $750 out of your checking account with Form G1650. Then they are going to send you a letter of extension for your 2-year green card and say, okay, your 2-year green card's been extended for 4 years. And then you're going to get a biometrics appointment about 2 to 3 weeks after that. Then you're going to go to your biometrics appointment. And once you pass that, then you're going to wait about a year, just a year or so, right, just over a year, and you'll get your 10-year green card. You're going to go to an interview, no doubt, just like you're going to go to an interview for a 2-year green card. That's the rules now. But it's always been the rule, but immigration has been basically given lots of waivers. So if you're getting ready to file for your K1 visa, I will help you with the paperwork if you want me to. Don't make any stupid mistakes. If you're going to get ready to file for your 2-year green card, the adjustment of status, remember, you got to repeat the medical exam. You have to redo the medical exam. So you go to your medical exam in, let's say, Colombia or the Philippines or India or Pakistan, wherever it is, Germany. You go to your medical exam. Then you want to do that about 2 weeks before your secure visa interview. You go to the visa interview, you get your K1 visa and your passport, you come to America. Next thing you're going to do is you're going to print your I-94, then you're going to apply for a social security number, then you are going to repeat your medical exam. Do not submit a 2-year green card application, adjustment of status, Form 485. Do not submit your adjustment of status paperwork without a brand new medical exam by a civil surgeon authorized by the U.S. State Department. So when Karina got to Florida, we flew from Bogota, Colombia to Miami. We rented a Jeep Cherokee. We drove home to here in the Panhandle. First thing I did was apply for her social security number and schedule her for a medical exam. She went to her medical exam. And they got a brand new 693 filled out. They recertified her vaccinations. She didn't have to redo the vaccinations. They just had to recertify they were all good. That paperwork went in her 2-year green card application, which was, in February of 2024. We're getting ready to file for her 10-year green card. Now, when she got her 2-year green card, we went back to the Social Security office and with her green card, and they updated her status in the computer with the Social Security Administration saying she's now a legal permanent resident with a 2-year green card. Then when she gets her 10-year green card, we will go back to the Social Security Administration and update her status as a 10-year green card holder. And then when she gets ready to apply for U.S. citizenship, when she becomes a U.S. citizen, we will then go back to the Social Security Administration and update her status as a U.S. citizen. Those are important things that you have to do. Okay? And it's basic stuff. It's not hard. But people forget. People get, when they get their 2-year green card, they get excited. Oh, I've got my green card. Okay. But the process isn't over. You got to keep collecting the evidence for your 10-year green card. And then you got to submit a ton of evidence for your 10-year green card because you're trying to prove to immigration that you are happily married, living together, under the same roof, responsible to each other for the bills of the household, and that you are now a couple that's building a life together in the United States of America. That's what immigration is looking for. But they're also looking for the scammers, obviously. There's scammers out there. They come to America, they get their 2-year green card, and then boom, they're gone. They disappear into the sunset, and good luck if they can get their 10-year green card because they're going to need the sponsor to apply with them. Because if they can't prove that they want a scammer, then they're going to get deported. They are. the government's not messing around with the scammers. You're a scammer trying to get a green card. You're going to be found out, detained, and deported. But everybody watching this channel, you guys are doing it the legal way. You love each other. You want to get married, or you're already married. You're just getting the paperwork done. And I'm here to help you fill it out if you want me to. I help you fill out the paperwork. I've been doing this for so long, but I'm not an immigration attorney. I don't give you legal advice. I don't work for USCIS, but I've been processing K-1 visas and green cards for 13 years, okay? My first wife was from Colombia. I brought her to the United States on a K-1 visa. She was from Colombia. She didn't like America. There was nothing about the country she liked. She missed her mom. She missed her brother. She missed her family. And she didn't like it here. So it took me, I spent 2 years dating her, brought her to America, got her a K-1 visa, got her a 2-year green card, and then she decided she didn't like it here. I said, okay. So I took her back to Colombia. I flew her back home to her mom's house and said, here, you're back home. And she was happy to be back home. She missed her friends and the lifestyle of Bogota. You know, she's a city girl, and this is more country here. So I divorced her, and it was amicable. I mean, it wasn't ugly. It was amicable. And then I was single for 6 years. Then I met Karina in Colombia, and she's from Venezuela. So I already knew how to do this entire process. K-1 visa, spousal visa, I knew the whole process, okay? So when I met Karina, I knew what was ahead. I knew what I was going to have to do to bring her to this country. And, you know, some people, once they've gone through this K-1 visa process one time, that's enough. They're like, I'm not doing this again. But I did it twice. And I tell you, my fiance got her on a fiance visa, and his interview was canceled last September. We are no more together because I've experienced abuse in all forms. He has been working, but refuses to what? So your fiance, she got her fiance visa, or his interview or her interview. Was it? I'm trying to figure this out. So she got her on a fiance visa. His interview was canceled last September. Why was the interview canceled? Because he was a bad person and you're not together. Now remember, you have two K-1 visa opportunities. You can go to 2 K-1 visa opportunities. Karina was my second K-1 visa, but I had to write a long explanation as to what happened to the first time. I explained everything, you know. My Colombian wife didn't like America. She didn't want to learn English. She didn't want to learn how to drive. She didn't even like freaking Walmart. She was scared of hurricanes, didn't like the beach, didn't like anything about the United States. But mainly I think it was because she missed her family. She missed her family. So anyway, Bud SJ, hello Diego. What's going on, Bud? How are you? How are you doing? I'm good, Bud. How are you? How's your family? We hope you're doing well out there. And I tell you, and Anita Awo5, take care of the children, and I want to send him back home. How can I proceed to make sure he gets deported? Well, what you need to do is you gotta basically, did you get married? Are you married to this person? I mean, if you got married, then you got to divorce him, okay? And if you want to get him deported, well, you have to have police evidence to back up that he's been abusive. You got to have evidence. But the first thing is, did you marry the guy? If you didn't marry the guy, then he has to return to his home country. If he doesn't return to his home country within 90 days, then he's going to be put on a deportation roster, I guess you call it. So if you got married, get a divorce, and don't file for the 2-year green card. If you didn't get married, then basically make sure you can put a protection order against him with the local sheriff, and then immigration will find him and deport him. Eventually, they'll find him. Okay? It's not your problem. If you didn't get married, then it's not your problem. It's immigration and his problem. But I can understand that you want to make him get deported, but don't make that stress. Don't put that stress on yourself. Just make sure that you have a protection order against him, and then let immigration do their thing. They'll find him. But we're doing great here. Karina is walking around. She's walking around the neighborhood. She worked all day. She's tired, and so she just wanted to de-stress herself a little bit by walking around the neighborhood. And we're getting ready. Next month, we're going to go on vacation. We're going to go out west. We're going to fly to Las Vegas, and then from there, we're going to go out to different places around the southwest United States, and including Area 51. I'm going to take Karina to Area 51, the back gate. It's something I've always wanted to be a visitor. I've always wanted to go there. So we're going to go to Area 51, go eat hamburgers at the Little Ely Inn in Rachel, Nevada, and then go other places. I'll take her all over outside the West Coast, and we'll make videos about it. And if you are a member of the channel, you get to see the videos first, and then after the members have watched the videos, then I'll go ahead and make them public. But first, the members get to see the videos. I've got to come up with some ideas for some new videos regarding K-1 visas and green cards. But for the most part, folks understand the process. They just have difficulty filling out the paperwork sometimes. They get confused. It's confusing. It's not an easy process if you put blocks in your brain. If you put yourself into a mind freeze when you're filling out the 485 or the 864, it's understandable. So that's why I'm here. If you want to send me your entire K-1 visa application, I'll look over it for you. I can look over your 2-year green card application to make sure you don't make any stupid mistakes. I can go over your 10-year green card application. It's only the 751 is the form you're going to fill out for the 10-year green card. It's easy to fill out. It's only 13 pages. But you all need to be focusing on becoming U.S. citizens. I was in Colombia with Karina. I lived in Bogota, Colombia with Karina, and we rented an apartment together for 3 years. And, I was telling her, we're going to get married. We're going to live here in Florida, but focus on learning English so you can become part of this big melting pot of people. But the first thing you're going to have to do is learn English. You already have the education. You already have a degree. You just got to learn English, and you will move up in the world pretty quick over here, as long as you work hard, put some sweat equity into what you're going to do here. I'm like retired 3 times already. I retired from the military. I'm retired from Mercedes-Benz. I'm retired from real estate. Now, basically, what I do is I run a YouTube channel for you guys to help you get through this process without paying an immigration attorney, because they're expensive. $5,000-$6,000. It's a lot of money, to fill out paperwork. And I can teach you how to do it for free. And then if you are a member of the channel, you can join right here. I think somewhere right here is a join. If you decide to join, then you can call me on the phone and I can walk you through the process, or look at your paperwork. You can email me. It's up to you. It doesn't matter to me. I already know how to do it. I've done it twice. And then after I learned how to do this before, it was easy for me the second time. I knew exactly what was going to happen at the interview. I knew what the process was for scheduling the visa interview at the embassy in Bogota. I understood, the whole process from A to Z. And when Karina gets her 10-year green card, then I'm going to make a video on our entire process from day one to the final when she gets her 10-year green card. And then you can see the timeline. But everybody's timeline's different. Some countries are not as fast as other countries. Processing K-1 visas in the Philippines may be quicker than processing a K-1 visa in, Guyana. Every country is different. Okay? Just like you got all these different YouTube channels out there on how to do this, I've put the channel together where I do live streams where you can ask me questions. If you get stuck, if you get confused, you can ask me questions and I'll give you the answer. You don't have to call USCIS. I mean, an immigration attorney is going to cost you $400 for a console call, right? For a phone call. Hey, can you help me out? I need to know. Can you help me fill out my I-751? Well, if an immigration attorney is going to fill out your 10-year green card application, it's going to cost you about, what, $5,000? I mean, that's money you can use for a honeymoon or for a vacation, et cetera, et cetera. All the money I saved on immigration attorney fees, I used to build a deck in the backyard. I put a fence up. You know, I got a new TV. I didn't spend the money on immigration attorneys because I know how to do it. And if you want to learn how to do it, you're in the right place. This is the place to be. And I'll give you the answers. And right away, you just got to ask me questions. You know, like this person, Anita, had a question. You know, my fiance got her on a fiance visa and his interview was canceled. Which interview was canceled? Was it the K-1 visa interview, the 2-year green card interview? What it was is, you know, apparently he made it to the United States. So did you get married? I don't know. If you got married, you got to get divorced. And then it's all on him to file for his 10-year green card. If he has his 2-year green card already. Or if he doesn't have any green card, if he has no paperwork, nothing, zero, make sure you get a divorce, and then it's all on him. Immigration is going to track him down. It's not your problem about getting him deported. All you need is a divorce decree. You got to get a divorce decree. You get a divorce decree in your hand, you're back free and legally able to marry somebody else. Then whether he's in the United States or not is not your problem. You can write a letter to immigration or ICE. You can report into ICE if you want, if you know where he is. Say, hey, this is my ex-husband or ex-wife, and she fraudulently or he used me to get a green card. Now we're divorced, and here's where he's at. Let immigration handle it. It's not your problem. The only thing you need is a divorce decree signed by a judge, and then you are free to marry somebody else. Right? There you go. It's not difficult. You can do this. Personally, you know, you should date somebody for at least 1.5 years, 2 years before you even think about bringing them to the United States. I lived with Karina for 3 years in Bogota, Colombia. I was back and forth from Florida to Colombia, back and forth, flying American Airlines, basically, you know, and we rented an apartment together and we were living together and we got to know each other over the 3 years. She came to America and we knew we were right for each other. It wasn't like I jumped on a plane and flew to Colombia and met her and spent a day or 2 or a week with her and came back and filed a K-1 visa. That's not how it works. Before I even filed the K-1 visa, we'd been living together for almost a year, back and forth from in Colombia. I know Bogota, Colombia. I can tell you, you can drop me off anywhere in Bogota, Colombia. I know my way around just as well as I know my way around my hometown here in Florida. You know, I got to know the city and the bus routes. I think they have a metro now. I think Bogota just got a brand new metro train going. I haven't been back to Colombia for over 2 years, so I don't know. But, you know, Karina right now, my wife, she's focusing on becoming a U.S. citizen. She's studying. She's learning about the history of this country. She's learning English. She's in English classes. Anita, he made me change our address after we moved and the interview got canceled. He refused to take care of the children, but he's working. But you haven't answered my questions. Are you guys, oh, you got married? Okay, so you married and he made you, nobody can make you do anything. How can anybody make you change your address? Nobody can make you do anything. And the interview got canceled. Which interview? The green card? So you got married and he doesn't have a 2-year green card because the interview got canceled. Why did the 2-year green card interview get canceled? Did immigration cancel it because they were busy? Or did you cancel it because you weren't happy with the marriage? What happened? But Anita, if you are married to this guy and he's not a very nice person and he's being abusive, you got to get police reports and you got to file a divorce. Okay, you can do a divorce on your own. You can go to the courthouse and do the paperwork and file for a divorce. You can print it out on your computer at home. You can fill out a divorce paperwork on your computer. You don't need a family law attorney. I already left the house with the children because of the abuse. Okay, so you got married and you left the house, with the children. But have you filed a divorce? You got to divorce this guy. You need to be legally free of him. When you get a divorce from him, okay, even if he's still in the United States, it's irrelevant. You are legally free and able to marry somebody else. You're done. Okay? Then immigration will be left to handle him. Now, if you're living by yourself with the children, then you need to file for a divorce and get legally divorced. Then you're good. Then it's not your problem anymore. It's his problem. Immigration will find him. Trust me. Doesn't matter what he's doing, where he's working. One day he's going to have to file for a green card. But why did the interview get canceled? Why did the 2-year green card get interview? What happened there? I mean, immigration don't just cancel visa interviews, green card interviews, unless there's a real good reason. So, I don't know. The only thing you got to do, it's irrelevant. Everything is irrelevant other than the fact that you got to get a divorce from this guy. That's it. That's all you got to do. You can do it yourself. You can ask one of your friends and help you fill out the paperwork if you want, but you can do it online. You can fill out the paperwork on your computer, print it, sign it, go down to the courthouse, pay the courthouse fee, and then file for the divorce. He doesn't even, now I'm not a family law attorney. I'm just telling you, I know how to do this. I've been there and done that. So all you got to do is file for the divorce. And then if he decides not to show up at the court hearing for the divorce, you win by default and you get divorced anyway. Okay? You got it? But I'm glad you got away from this individual and that you're in a safe place. That's the most important thing. You and your children are safe. But you have to do that final part. You have to get that divorce done. And then he's on his own, legally, with immigration and anything else. It's not, okay? And he's not going to be filing for any green cards. Well, he can if he wants, but it's not going to be approved. How's he going to get approved? You divorced him because of abuse, and you got evidence to back it up. So he's not going to get approved for a 2-year green card or a 10-year green card or any green card. So he's going to be on his own. And eventually immigration is going to catch up with him, detain him, put him in a detention center, and send him home. Oh, you understand? Anita, tell me you understand what I'm telling you. I got all this pollen irritating my eyes and my nose. I tell you, there's so much pollen here. It's crazy. But it is what it is. Okay, do we have any questions? I'm here to answer questions. How do you do this? How do you do that? I mean, the green card application is easy. The 2-year, the 10-year. Most people make their mistake on the affidavit of support. Remember, there are 2 financial documents that a sponsor has to fill out. There's I-134, which is the Declaration on Financial Support. That's where you have to meet 100% of the minimum income requirements for the embassy interview. That's the I-134. Then you have the 864. That's the affidavit of support. Now you got to meet 125% of the minimum income requirements, and that's for the 2-year green card. Once you get the 2-year green card, both of you are working. When it comes time to apply for the 10-year green card, you're going to have a joint income. You're going to have 2 incomes coming into the family because you're going to be filing joint tax returns. So your income is going to double. So then you don't need a joint sponsor probably when you get to the 10-year green card level. You just got to provide your tax returns for the last 2 years at a minimum. Okay? Corinne and I, we just filed our taxes a couple of days ago. We mailed off our tax return to the IRS. It's going to take about 6 months to get a tax transcript for the 2025 tax returns. So we're not going to be able to get the tax transcript for our 10-year green card application, but we have the tax transcripts for our 2024 tax return. We wrote a little note that said, we just filed our 2025 tax return. Here's the 1040. Here's the W-2s for Karina. Here's my 1099s. We're not going to get the tax transcripts probably for about 6 months. If you want them in the future, we'll be glad to get them for you. But right now we don't have them for the 10-year green card application. But we did make a copy of the 1040. And I'm going to get a copy of the check where we wrote a check to the U.S. Treasury Department when we paid our taxes. You make out a check to the U.S. Treasury Department. When the IRS cashed that check, it's going to show up on our bank statement. I'm going to make a copy of that check statement. Both our names are on the check with our address and phone number. So that's going to be proof that we paid our taxes. A cashed check by the IRS that was processed by our bank. So that will be acceptable in place of the tax transcript, which we can't get yet. Okay? But when you get ready for a U.S. citizenship, you're going to have to provide at least 3 years of tax returns, 3 years of tax transcripts. Okay? When is a person eligible for U.S. citizenship? 36 months from the issue date of the 2-year green card. So you look at your 2-year green card, there's the issue date. 36 months from that day in the future is when you're eligible for U.S. citizenship, if you are married to a U.S. citizen. If you come to the United States on a H-1B1 or a work visa, or and you get permission to stay here permanently, you have to wait 5 years before you can apply for U.S. citizenship. But if you are married to a U.S. citizen, you only have to wait 3 years from the issue date of the 2-year green card. Not from the day you arrived in America, not from the moment you got into the airport and started walking across the airport. It's from the issue date of the 2-year green card. And once you become a citizen of the United States, you don't have to worry about immigration anymore. You don't. You can get a U.S. passport, and if you want to go back to the country you originated from because you miss your family and friends, you can go back and stay for 6 months if you want. Because on a U.S. passport, they're not going to mess with you coming back in the country. Okay? It's good, right? Citizenship's the way to go. If you don't want to be a U.S. citizen, that's fine too. You don't have to be. But every 10 years, you're going to have to renew your 10-year green card. So you can do that, right? You can go that route if you want. 6 months before your 10-year green card expires, you're going to be filing for a new 10-year green card. And then every 10 years thereafter. But if you become a citizen, now to me, you still have to pay taxes as a green card holder. You have to pay federal taxes. Okay? If you, depending on your income, obviously, you got to pay taxes. If you don't pay your taxes, if you try to avoid taxes in the United States, then you're going to have a hard time getting your green card renewed or getting U.S. citizenship. Immigration want to see that you're, paying your taxes. If your income isn't sufficient to pay taxes, that's fine, but you have to show that you filed a tax return. Anita, thank you. No problem. Anita, all you got to do is you got to fill out the divorce paperwork on your computer. I don't know where you live. I don't know what state you live in, but in the state of Florida, you can jump on a computer, fill out your divorce paperwork, or you can print it and fill it out by hand with a black ink pen. Either way, and then you take the paperwork and all the supporting documents, the financial documents, they explain to you how to do it, and you pay the fee to the court, clerk of the court. I'm filing for divorce. In Florida, I think it's $400. In Florida, you'd pay the $400, and then you wait about 4 or 5 months, go to the hearing. Whether the other party shows up for the hearing or not is irrelevant. You still get a divorce. You get your divorce decree in your hand, signed by the judge, and you're legally free and able to marry somebody else. And you can report the person to immigration. If he abused you, then they will find him. Immigration, ICE, okay, are looking for people who are in the country illegally. They are on a mission. They're under a quota. I got pollen killing me. They're under a quota, okay? So immigration will find him, and they'll get their brownie points, their green check mark, and then he'll be put in detention and put on a plane and sent home from wherever he came from. If you are in this country illegally right now, you don't have much hope of getting legal status ever, unless you go back to your home country and self-deport. If you self-deport, put that app on your phone, that Customs and Border Patrol app, put it on your phone, self-deport, then immigration will not give you a permanent block on never coming back here. That's the only way illegals are going to get legal residency in the future. They have to take themselves back home. But if you get arrested by immigration and customs enforcement, if you get detained and arrested and an immigration judge sends you home, you're done. You're not coming back here. The United States is done with you. They don't want you here. If you are a green card holder and you get in trouble with law enforcement, you get lots of speeding tickets, you get a DUI, you get caught stealing cookies from Walmart, and you're a 2-year green card holder, you can forget about getting your 10-year green card. It ain't going to happen. Okay? If you get in trouble with law enforcement, no matter how minor it is, other than like if you got one speeding ticket, they'll give you a break. But if you have a slew of them, if you become a menace on the highways, if you get a DUI, if you get caught stealing stuff from, Piggly Wiggly or whatever, you're done. You're out of here. Deported. If you overstay your tourist visa as a tourist into the United States, if you overstay your visa, you're done. You won't be able to come back here. Okay? You just got to know these things. I know these things. I watch it happen all the time. I get people calling me or texting me, help me with this, help me with that. I'm like, okay. But even there are some situations where even an immigration attorney, oh God, I'm tired, guys. Even immigration attorneys can't help you. You just give it up. Before you file your K-1 visa, if you have any criminal record under your belt, if you're an American citizen, if you sponsor, if you have any felonies under your belt, misdemeanors, have an immigration attorney review your criminal history before you file the K-1. I'm not saying the immigration attorney has to do your K-1 visa for you. You can do that yourself. But have the immigration attorney take a look at your criminal record, your history. Go to the courthouse, get your criminal record, have them print it, have them look at it, immigration attorney, do a consult with him, and he or she will tell you if you even qualify for the benefit. If you qualify, okay, have the immigration attorney write up an opinion that he says you qualify, or she, and then file your K-1 visa. But don't pay an immigration attorney $5,000 or $6,000. That's crazy money. Annie Mamrum. Hello, Annie Mamrum. How are you? How's your family? What's going on? Today is April 11th, 2026. April is going by so quickly. It's the weekend already. Pretty soon it's going to be May. Then this year will be half over with by June, right? Karina and I are just amazed at how quickly the time went for her living in the United States. She's getting ready to file for a 10-year green card. It's just like yesterday that I flew to Colombia to meet her for the first time. But it was over 5 years, closing in on six years. It's amazing how quick the time goes by. I don't know. It's just the older I get, the faster time seems to go by. That's just from my perspective. Seems that the older I get, the more birthdays I collect, the quicker the time goes by. So, I remember when I was, 18, 19 years old, thinking, man, everything's dragging, everything's going so slow. When am I going to be 21? When can I do this? When can I do that? Now the time goes by like that. So enjoy. If you're young, if you're in your 20s, early 30s, even 40s, enjoy this time in your life. Go out and do things. Don't be sitting around being a couch potato. If you have a list of things you want to do, go do them while you can do it, while you're young. Go out and do it. If you've always wanted to visit Hawaii, go visit Hawaii. If you've always wanted to, start a business, give it a shot. If it doesn't work out, okay, it didn't work out. But don't be thinking, that you didn't try. There's always something you can do in this great country, the United States of America. And don't forget, this is a republic, not a democracy. And I repeat that in all the live streams I can possibly put it out there. This is not a democracy. This country is a constitutional republic, not a federal democracy. A federal democracy doesn't exist. Yes, we have a federal government. Yes, the federal government controls the military, printing money, the borders, and that's it. The federal government does not control the school system in the United States. The states control the schooling so when you go wherever you live in America, the states are in charge of the school system. Okay, the Department of Education in Washington, D.C. has no constitutional authority to exist. They got no right to exist, because here in Florida, Tallahassee controls the schools in Florida from school boards across the states through the counties. Okay, Anita, yes, I do. Thank you so much for your advice. No problem. If people listen to me and follow what I say, you're going to have a happy green card existence. There's people that, they come on the channel and then sometimes they just go down their own little bramble path, and then they end up getting visas denied, green cards denied, and then they call me and email me, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't listen to you, Diego. Okay, you don't have to. I'm not making you follow my advice. I'm just giving you advice because I know how to do this the right way. And people that follow my advice, boom, they get their visas approved, they get their green cards adjudicated correctly, and boom, they're happy. Everything works out. Even spousal visas. If you're in a spousal visa, doesn't matter. I know how to do that. I processed one for my Colombian wife. Got it approved, and then she decided she didn't want to live in the United States. She stayed in Colombia. I took her back to Colombia, and then she wanted to come back to the United States. I filed a spousal visa, got it approved, and then she said, no, I want to live in Colombia. I said, okay. Boom. I hired a process server in Medellin, Colombia, and got her served divorce papers and got a divorce from her ass. That was a long time ago, but it had to be done. So, I can empathize with people who they bring somebody to this country on good faith and it doesn't work out. If it doesn't work out, divorce the person and tell that person not to contact you anymore, and no, you're not going to help them with their green card application. If you don't have to, there's no obligation. But make sure if you date somebody for a long time, 2 years, make 4 trips, 5 trips, spend a lot of time with your beneficiary before you decide to bring her to this country, or him, doesn't matter, guy or girl. Don't make us, it's going to be a very expensive mistake if you bring someone to this country and it doesn't work out. It's going to be very expensive. So it's better to be buying plane tickets and spending time together for the first couple of years, making sure you are compatible with each other before you pull the trigger on the K-1 visa. Because remember, it's a legal contract between you and the U.S. government. A green card, a 2-year green card application, the affidavit of support is a legal contract between the sponsor, the U.S. citizen sponsor, and the U.S. government. Okay? You're signing a contract that is good for 10 years. Or if you divorce, then the person has to return back to his or her home country. And then the contract goes away. So you're making some big legal decisions, bringing someone to this country on a K-1 visa. It's big legal decisions. So you got to know what the heck you're doing. Make sure you're not making any stupid mistakes. Don't make any mistakes on the paperwork. Okay? And if you have any questions, I'm here to help you. If you're nervous about dealing with the U.S. government, don't be nervous. Immigration's not trying to stop you from coming here. If you're watching me from where? Nigeria, from Colombia, everybody in India, Pakistan, Australia, England, France, Germany, Belgium, Holland, people watching me from all around the world. And we want you to come here and enjoy your life here in the United States, become an American, and to be happily married. Okay? You can do it. And I'm here to help you. So anyway, it's almost an hour I've been talking. I'll be back on Monday. Today's Saturday. Enjoy your weekend. Tomorrow, Karina has her day off from work. She finally gets to sleep in. And I'll make some videos for you guys. Don't forget, if you want to be a member, join as a member. If you join as a member, you can get my phone number and you can call me, text me, email me, and I can help you. I'll prevent you from making stupid mistakes. I'll save you from losing your green card, just as long as you qualify. See you at the next live stream, guys, and thanks for hanging out with me today.